R.I.P. Not, hopefully not really.
Bad time for that phrase.
Yes. Good time.
Continuing.
Late one night, while you guys are camping out in the woods, your way south to Gravel. I'm going to roll 1d4, same order as before. Let's see who's on watch during the time. It's how fitting! Seema, you're on watch one night with Coin. Oh, I forgot to mention this. Oh yeah, the Fortuna's buff Coin. They imbue holy magic energy into Coin. Your dog is now a holy watchdog.
Yes!
Yeah, so Coin is now the equivalent of a radiant, literal radiant, and radiant as in deals radiant damage, wolf. Radiant wolf. Like a winter wolf, but different.
Bark, bark, bitch.
Or, yeah. Anyways, though, while you and Coin are on watch one night, while everyone else is getting some, like, good, not the good cush, the good rest, a specter appears before you. A shadowy specter. You see this figure... Well, you've seen this figure sort of peripherally once before. This is the same figure that kidnapped Owen. The sort of, mid-length haired, provincial with furs on attire. Stuff like that. You saw their sort of recording. And this time, it's not a recording. This time, it's a two-way conversation. And as the Spectre appears and says, "Good evening" to you, he peels off his flesh, revealing a much more familiar form to you, that of your friendly neighborhood Shadow Man. And he says, "Hello, Seema. Good evening." He's not really there, you can tell. Just like before.
What are you doing here?
He tosses this sort of no, what's bigger than a baseball but not the size of a soccer ball or a basketball?
Softball.
Softball. Thank you. He tossed up and down this softball-sized crystal orb. Oh, I was just around. And I just wanted to chat.
You're not normally the one to want to talk.
But haven't I, though? I talked to you before. He takes a step closer.
Fine. What do you want to talk about, then?
I was just simply inquiring whether or not you and yours would like to parlay. I know where you're going. You're going to Graffle. You're going to the Maestros. That much is obvious. I was wondering if you want to parlay on your way there. One-on-one. Or one-to-one group, at least. Says with a mirthful smile.
What could we possibly have to parlay about?
He holds up the orb. This for one.
I'm thinking.
Think as much as you want, he says. You're sort of sulking, silent, pondering. Think as much as you want.
How could you prove that we can trust you during this parlay time?
I will meet you on one of the most reputable neutral grounds around. You wouldn't know of it. You must say at all. Aiden's how to describe belongings. Do you still have them? I know you guys went to Sevlus.
Is that what are you offering your trade?
No. If he kept it on him, which I very much believe so. I know so. The coin you got. The one with the blades on the back. I don't know who actually out of game who actually had Aiden Hughes' shit.
It's probably just in my bag, if anything.
I'll say I know I picked it up off of him.
Yeah, you definitely picked it up off him. I'm saying like after you opened up what was on him, like where you like distributed out the contents of it.
Seema, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I think actually that's what we did, because we figured, hey, it's a coin. Give it to Seema.
Yeah, I think I do know
That's
that.
probably it. I think we were gonna talk to Valeska and Cedric later, because they have weird coin knowledge, possibly.
Yeah.
But that clearly didn't happen.
Yeah. Oh well. Some of the things got lost. You pull it out from your pocket and present it to him. Like, this coin. That one exactly. There's a place in Perstia, the large city closest to the Maestros. There's a bar there. It's called the Sanguine Dragon. Present that coin to its bartender. It'll give you access to something called the Accord. It's a place for people like me. Killers. In this place, no one's allowed to fight, much less kill. Everyone has to be cordial. Everyone has to be neutral. I'll meet you there. And then we can
Is
parlay.
there a time frame for this?
I'll be waiting. I imagine you are already on a time frame with that young white-haired boy, right? Says with a smirk. How is he, by the way?
Seema just like stiffens.
Blood curses. Nevros blood curses. I'm quite familiar with them myself. I hope he's doing fine. The boy seemed charming when I had him in my company. He looks up at the sky. I should be going, though. I have other things to do tonight. Have a good evening, Emma. And then he fades away. So, you now have a place to, if you so desire to do so, have a place to parlay with Scorpius, Shadow Man, however you want to, Reynold, one of his aliases. You have a place to parlay with him. If you so choose to.
Yeah, and I the next morning would relay this
Until party?
meeting to everybody.
Okay. That was the biggest kicker or one of my biggest kickers. I was wondering whether or not you tell everyone, or whether you keep it secret and go to them yourself.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna invite everybody else to just.
Cedric and Valeska, more so the former, are quite familiar with it. It is an assassin's club. Which is why Cedric is much more familiar than Valeska. It is 100% inspired by John Wick's Continental. I am not afraid. John Wick is an amazing movie, and you should all see it, especially the third one, which came out a month ago. But it is different. The Accord is only one place, but the place, it's only one. It can only be in one place at a time, but it cycles from place to place. So it's currently in Grafal, but it's not always. Or
So it's like
Graffle,
Marvel's bar without a name. None of you get that, do you?
No, I don't know anything about Marvel. We talked about.
Yeah, immediately.
What's Black Panther?
I'm just imagining the like Assassin's Bar in Deadpool.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably a bit more noble and ritzy, but it's something like that.
I think about it, like Assassin's Bar, where everyone decides to be civil, is a common thing in a lot of media, or a fair amount of media.
So
Anyways,
would Cedric know? What is it that ensures to get what guarantees that people don't misbehave?
If you misbehave, every other assassin is now hereby obligated to hunt you down.
yeah.
And while, you might think Scorpius the Unkillable is, pretty badass and he's free to break the rules, there's also, Cedric notes this, he's not the only dark power-serving assassin in that room. He's heard rumors that the person that runs the Accord is also, himself a fell god. Just rumors, of course, but who knows? That's sort of the kicker, is that in a room full of killers, you're never confident that you're the best killer in the room. And you sign on to the Accord, if you're invited into it. You're formally invited into its ranks, as opposed to being a guest, like you guys will have to be with the coin. When you sign on into it, it's the equivalent of making a contract with a fairy, or a devil, or whatever. It's a permanent oath. And it's one most people sign on to, because it really has no repercussions so long as you don't break the rules.
Yeah.
It doesn't ask to pay a membership fee. It doesn't ask you to take a certain amount of jobs every amount of weeks or whatever. You join, you're allowed to come in without having to constantly pay coins. You get paid in those coins, and those coins can be exchanged around in the Accord's own network around the world. And he says world. So it's strictly benefit, no downside, as long as you don't break the rules.
The second you do, literally every assassin that you can think of, and then some, come for your ass.
That's really the only downside is, in the case someone does break the rules, you now have to waste your time, money, effort, whatever, to go hunt that person down. But at the same time, no one ever does it. No one ever breaks the rules there.
Who would be stupid enough to do that shit?
Exactly.
John Wick.
John Wick, exactly. Although, to be fair, against John Wick, I'm pretty sure there's not elder beings in John Wick's club. There was a weird Asian guy, though, who I think he was the guy that runs Iron Chef. Except he's bald. Yeah, that guy was weird. You should watch John Wick 3, though. He kills a man with a horse, as if it were a gun. Anyways, so yeah, that's what the Accord is. It's a continental from John Wick.
Anyways.
Yeah, that's simply it. I think I have the Accord in every campaign of mine so far. Let's see, was it in the sci-fi one? Yeah, it was in the sci-fi one. Or all the ones after John Wick, at least. After John Wick got released. Anyways. Yeah, so Seema informs you guys all about the Accord and this parlay for the orb. Against the Shadow Man. Down in Greffel. Gryffindor. So, nothing else of immense import happens on your route south. Of course, you guys have a couple of jobs here and there. Some, lost children to get sent back to their mothers or killed. I don't know where his disposition on children is. Sometimes you kill
just
them.
murder them.
Just like the old people. You gotta kill the old people.
We collect them and take them back to their house, but murder the parents so they become orphans.
Ah, there you go. And then you guys can start your own orphanage. How fitting.
That's the big brain place right there.
Make a
Easy
small
state
army.
money.
Anyhow.
I kill their parents, I get an orphanage, I get state sponsorship. Easy collab. Easy money. Anyways, so you guys continue down south to Grafald. During this time, you guys, converse a bit more about the squad. With the squad, you guys all get training of some sort. let's see. Anything of note with your NPC? Well, Tala, because you guys haven't specifically told me that you're keeping out for her safety or any other reasons, Tala has been involved in your guys' fights, and she's happy to be a part of them.
How many times has she almost died?
More than a few. But, you know, happens. Same with Darwin, to be fair, but you guys don't want to get kidnapped again. She does ask here and there, specifically to Seema, like, Seema's ideology behind killing Hillcrest. The way she asks these questions doesn't implicate there's a right answer. She's just poking the subject and trying to stir what she can and get as much discussion as she can out of it.
And Seema would answer that from her perspective. There is a point when people are irredeemable and are inherently detrimental to the world at that point. I don't think Seema tells her that a part of it was like out of just selfish revenge, because Seema's, you know, trying to pretend to be pretty paladin-y a lot of the time.
Fair enough. Okay, that's a good response then. Yeah, I don't think she goes into any other topics. Not yet, at least. Not yet. She does entertain the idea, though. Or she asks you to entertain the idea, like, what if he were redeemable? And how do you decide? Who knows? Again, we're doing this like in a hyper-narrative manner. I have like concrete answers for this stuff now.
Show her the folded paper. Even if you uncrumple it, you can still see the marks left by the crumpling. Even if you redeem yourself, there's always going to be traces of who you were.
It's a good thing to bring up to her.
I think that Seema would have answered that in that scenario. It just seemed like he had no intention of ever trying to not be evil.
She goes silent after that. Pondering. Thinking. Over this time, Nevi becomes the... Well, I guess she sort of already was, but she does become officially, at some point, just designated by Duncan, like, you're gonna have to take care of Owen. Which she's totally fine with. And as a result, Catalina has to also hang around Owen. And surprisingly enough, she and Owen, they're not the best of friends, but they get along. She mainly carries the conversation while he buckles under it, but, you know, some friendships are like that in real life, right? Yeah, Catalina becomes a bit less asshole-y to those two in specific. She's still like a very like a rabid cat against the rest of you, but hey, whatever. She gets reminded like weekly that she could get crushed like a fucking ant by at least one of the squad, other than Connor. Speaking of Connor, speaking of the Maestro, you guys arrive at the Maestro's. Well, you guys arrive at Persia, which is like a hop, skip, and a jump away from the Maestro's. It's probably like from the center of Persia, probably like a couple-hour walk out to the Maestro's, following the main roads, assuming like not debilitating amounts of foot traffic. So,